What's up, everyone? It's your boy NornRad89 here, bringing you another video. And for today's video, we're going to be talking about part 5 of the Obi-Wan series. It's almost over. I believe we have one more episode left. Drops next Wednesday. So now we're going to talk about the most recent one. Some stuff happened. It was pretty intense. We're going to get into it. Spoilers, of course. So if you haven't seen it, you need to go run out and watch it. It's currently on Disney Plus, so we can talk about it. Let's do this. Roll it. Part 5 of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series is packed with a lot of drama, some intenseness, and it also has a new confrontation that we get involved with, so I'm really excited about this one. Plus, we learned some more stuff about Reva, so let's get into this episode. As we continue from where we are in the previous one, Obi-Wan and Leia, he has rescued Leia. They're on their escape, but her little droid that flies around with her is a beacon or a tracker that Reva placed on the ship. So now Vader and Reva are basically following them to Jabin, I believe is the name of the planet, and that's where they go. And they have to, when they get to the planet, they have to help the people who help them gather a bunch of people on a ship because they're going to escape. They're all trying to escape off the planet and get away from the Empire. So they got to load up this ship and get out of there before the Empire comes. So it's kind of like almost, it feels a lot like Empire Strikes Back. That scene when they're on Hoth and the Empire is coming and they have to all get off Hoth real quick and get to the new Rebel base. Like, that's kind of the feeling you get and like the intenseness. So we have a time clock. And then, of course, we have the sabotaging droid who sabotages stuff. So it's like we got a lot of elements in this episode, creating good, tense drama that you can just cut tension with a knife. Now, we must talk about one character really quick, of course, and that's Tala. And I like this character a lot. They've slowly built her up throughout this series as being someone that Obi-Wan can trust, someone that cares about Obi-Wan and is helping Jedi travel and like getting them away on that Underground Railroad thing. She has that droid with her who's really cool, and I think their characters were built up perfectly in this show. And she's such a stable character. And then as you're watching this episode, you're like, dang, like it's getting intense. The time clock's crunching, you know, the Empire's getting there and they're trying to infiltrate the base as Obi-Wan and the others lock themselves in the base and they're trying to hold the Empire off while Leia gets into the vent and tries to open the door because the droid sabotaged them. So there's like an escape hatch door and the door just gets stuck and of course the ship can't get out, so Leia has to crawl in the vent, fix that, and while that's happening, Tala ends up going back and, you know, her and the droid try to hold off the Empire, and yes, they do die, and it's a very emotional scene, and I like that. Like I said, they built them up perfectly enough to where that scene was impactful and emotional, and when, like, Obi-Wan's using the lightsaber blocking the trooper shots, and you hear him calling out to her, and the droid's just, like, dying, like, right in front of her, like, oh, man, it's pretty sad. Like, it was a good moment, very emotional, potent moment. Sorry if you could hear my chickens outside. That's probably what you hear in the background. But yes, this is, like I said, a very intense episode. Then we have the learning of Reva's past. And I like that because it's just a quick flashback thing. Like I said, I wanted in one of my previous reviews for Obi-Wan episode. I think it was like episode 3. Yes, this, like, we had a quick little flashback as she talks to Obi-Wan and he discovers how she knows Anakin is Darth Vader, and it's of course because she's a youngling. Like, her background isn't something like, it's not shocking, not something I didn't see coming, but I just wanted to see a little element of it, and it makes Reva more three-dimensional, of course, and she's such a good character. Like I said, this story is much more about her and Obi-Wan than it is about anything else, even Anakin. It's a lot about Obi-Wan, and it's a lot about Reva, and, you know, you can tell by this episode, like I said, her and Obi-Wan set this plan, as Obi-Wan kind of, you know, gets in her head, plants the little seeds of like, you know, maybe you can beat Vader. Like, let's team up. You know, I know you want him. Let's take him out. And then, you know, like that sequence happens, and it's a pretty cool sequence to see Vader fighting Reva, and like he's doing these things where he's like force pushing her moves away. It's kind of like watching like Bruce Lee work if he was probably force sensitive, and she's like all aggressive coming at him with strikes, and he's like like just, you know, like blocking her and pushing her and moving her and stuff. Like, oh, it was intense. It was a really cool fight scene. But my problem with this episode is probably like some characters made some weird choices, and just overall in the whole TV show as in general, I believe there's a lot of writing conveniences. The writers, like, I don't mind the acting. I think the acting is on point, and I really love the actors and actresses, but I think the writing is missing in a little elements. You know, there's a lot of writing conveniences and there's a lot of weird choices that the characters make. Like one, for instance, in this one is Vader leaving Reva alive after they're fighting, and he like stabs her. I was like, nah, like we're being portrayed. He's been portrayed in this series as just totally ruthless, force choking people out of windows and like cracking necks and slamming people into walls and cutting people. You know, they portray Vader to be really intense, and he's dragging Obi-Wan through fire. So it's like, I just questioned why he left Reva alive. I don't know why. Like, it's to create that little intense scene that we hear at the end where she puts the beacon together and she finds out that Luke's on Tatooine. So it's like, you know, it's okay, I guess. It's just not, it doesn't fit Vader's character the way they built him up in the series. It just doesn't fit, especially after he found out what Reva was and that she was trying to do that and tried to kill him. Like, no. And that Obi-Wan planted the seed in her head. And no, even if Vader used it and planned it that she was going to do that, like, no, he would have dispatched her right then and there. Like, I don't really believe that shit at all. But overall, in my book, this is still a pretty emotional and potent episode. This is definitely going to get like an 8 or an 8.5 out of 10. It's really good episode. Like I said, it's got potent moments. It's goes by fast, and I like that factor. It doesn't feel like anything drags out. The emotional moments, especially when Tala talks to Obi-Wan, it comes at the perfect time and it's the perfect length. Everything in this episode is kind of timed out very well and stuff. It's just, like I said, some of those writing inconveniences and the choices that some of these characters make throughout the series is a little weird. It's a little weird, but, you know, I'm still on the ride. Like I said, I'm really enjoying this series a lot more than I did Book of Boba Fett, and I love Obi-Wan's character. That's probably why, too. I'm really into his character, but I truly think this series is better than the Book of Boba Fett. But let me know in the comments section what you all think. How do you feel about the Obi-Wan series so far? We got one more episode left coming out next Wednesday. I know it flew by so quick. I wish there was a couple more episodes for real. But thanks for sticking around with me, y'all, for another video. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you can stay tuned to the channel. Have a safe and happy day, everyone. Peace out.